And we're live. Welcome to Music Matters with Jason Tramm. Thank you so much for joining us for our unique podcast community where we explore the triumphs and challenges of the performing arts world as seen through the eyes of distinguished colleagues. And today we have a wonderful band. We've got the Marquis of Vaudeville, a fantastic, progressive, alternative, kind of theatrical rock band with a lot to say, and I'm so glad that they're going to join us today. Please remember to subscribe to us on YouTube and smash that bell icon for the most up-to-date information on upcoming guests and topics. We love it when our audience likes and shares our videos, and remember, you can chat in a question to the audience, and we can answer, and you can join in the conversation. We love that. You can see Music Matters on YouTube Live, Facebook Live, LinkedIn Live. You can hear us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and wherever podcasts are played. So thank you so much for joining us, and welcome. I'd like to welcome our guest today, the Marquis of Vaudeville. Welcome, guys.
Hello.
Hi there. Thanks for having us. We appreciate it.
Well, thank you so much. Well, and great to have guests from Texas. We've had a bunch. And so how are things over in Texas today?
Wet but hot.
Sounds about right for the summer, right?
Yeah.
So introduce yourselves.
Go ahead, Geneva.
All right. I'm Geneva. I play bass for Marquis of Vaudeville, and also I work on a lot of the videos and a whole bunch of other stuff. But music was big.
Nice.
Yeah, and I'm Toby Lahan. I'm the singer for Marquis of Vaudeville. I'm one of the founding members. So we've been a band for a little over 10 years now. So yeah,
That's a long run. 10 years is a long run to be in a rock band. And so tell us about the founding of the band and what has that meant to be the Marquis of Vaudeville? Where did the name come from first?
Well, so to start at the beginning and try to keep it short, long story, of course, but I was in a previous band with another founding member. He was one of our original guitar players, Brian Getty, who I grew up with. And Brian and I were in a band called Star Zagora, and we were working with Geffen Records for a little bit. We had a development deal with Geffen, and that was right before kind of the industry crashed. So everything kind of fell through with that. And I talked to Brian. I said, hey, let's move forward and let's do something different. Let's take some of these songs that I've been writing and let's run with it. And so we found some other people to fill the various roles in the band. And when we were talking about what to name ourselves, we decided that we wanted to find something that was, because we were planning on doing a theatrical kind of thing. So what we did was we settled on Marquis of Vaudeville, which basically vaudeville being an old world form of entertainment, right? Old world stage show where you could see a variety of the extravagant on the stage. And so that's basically what Marquis of Vaudeville means to us. It means a variety of the extravagant. So then once we named ourselves that, we said, okay, if we name ourselves this, we can't do jeans and t-shirts. So we can't, everything has to be grandiose and on that level that is worthy of that name. So we did that over 10 years ago, and we've done it at the level that we think is worthy of the name, and we have not looked back. So
I love the flair for the dramatic, and I love the songs. I was listening to different songs. First thing when I look for bands, I look for bands that grab me musically, and you really high level music. There's a progressive rock spin to some of your music I would hear in there, and then the videos are really great. And I watched some of the live shows I saw online, especially on your YouTube channel, and really liked your performance style and really liked what you had to say. How did you start with that style immediately? Was that something that developed over time?
We kind of started with a kind of a 60s psychedelic, 70s glam, kind of a Ziggy Stardust, Bowie type thing in it. And then I wrote this one song called An Ordinary Day, and it was pretty dark and theatrical, and that just changed everything. All the dominoes started falling, and that started to be the way I wrote, and because that's really a part of who I am, and so it just comes out in the music. And so I think over time we've developed, we've taken from, of course, our influences, some being, like I mentioned, Bowie, some being film, literature, but bands like The Cure, even Pink Floyd, and we just kind of mixed it all up and did our own thing. And like I said, took the influence from vaudeville and that variety act and the extravagant stage shows and just threw it all together and tried to create our own sound. And I feel that we've done that. I think most people that hear it would say, well, that's something I haven't really heard before. There may be something that sounds a little similar here and there, but they have their own thing, and that's basically what we try to do. And bridge
so
that
important to find that individual voice that really identifies you as your own. And that's the first thing I look for when I listen to like a lot of different bands. I say, oh man, that's an original idea, something really cool. And then the video just grabbed them. Like, those are some beautiful videos, like really intricate and well designed. I thought, honestly, we were talking in the pre-show that you guys produced those yourself. That's really impressive.
Thank you very, very much. We've worked really hard on the videos. They're 100% independently made. The only thing we've had some friends come in at certain parts. For instance, if we're performing in the video, then they'll take over and film, etc. But for the most part, it has been the band has done everything from getting together. Like I basically designed I didn't actually sew, but I put together the wardrobes like for our last one, the Enigma Men. I did the great majority of the wardrobe there, and so we allow some people who are very artistic to kind of bring in. We choose them and ask them to be a part of it because of how artistic they are and how good they are. And so some of those people are just like, wear what you typically wear or what you do. Do you bring in your own piece of art and add it to this whole world we're creating? And so we do that too. But yeah, it's been a labor of love, a lot of hard work. Filmed, each video typically is across several states and then 10 plus locations. So, or at least our last two that we completely did ourselves, and they've been winning awards all over the globe. So we're very proud of them.
Well, it's certainly an incredible amount of work. How long does I saw the one on the Alice in Wonderland themed one? How long did that one take to shoot?
We're All Mad Here took like just adding up without any pause, probably several months, I would say. Up to several months, up to about maybe a year with pauses. Yeah,
because we filmed some of it a year before. For it was part of it was originally filmed for a promotional video for an event we were putting on. And then after we were done, we're like, well, we have a lot of stuff that we couldn't use for the little tiny short promo thing that we did for the event. It's like, well, we'd like to use all of this in something. And then we're like, okay, well, we probably have half of a music video. And then, after it was all said and done, it was probably only like a fifth of the music video, but because we kept adding and adding and adding.
Yeah, I mean, We're All Mad Here is based on our event, A Clockwork Wonderland. And what you see in the video, that's what we try to do at the show. We have actors portraying the characters, and we decorate like a twisted wonderland, and everyone gets dressed up and comes out and goes down the rabbit hole. So.
Now, when did you start that concept? Tell us all about that concept. That's something totally unique. And how did you come up with that?
It goes back to the name, right? So when we decided to include the vaudeville kind of aspect. So when with our first show, we went to, we're all from other bands. So we went to a local venue, a very popular venue that's not there anymore in Dallas called Curtain Club. And we said, hey, we want to do this event in which we put magic on the stage, and we have theater, and we have exotic instrumentation, and we have dance, and we have a circus sideshow, and all of these things on the stage. And they said, okay, sure, do it. And so we decorated the venue, and then we brought, at our very first show for this band, we brought 250 people to the first show, which is tremendous for a first show. And so the venue said, hey, that was great. Bet you can't do it again. And I said, all right, hold my beer.
That's on.
So we did it again. It was a different theme. I think the first one, I think, was called The Great Promenade of Fools and Ghosts, which is our debut album. So then the second one, we brought 350 people. And so it just kept going up and up like that. And then the venue said, hey, do you want to just like you want to put everything together and you do everything for the show, you decorate, and we were like, absolutely, we want to do that. And so we that was the time we started with the Clockwork Wonderland, and I think it was out of this world. I think it ended up with like 900 plus people. It was way beyond capacity. People around several blocks for hours and hours and hours trying to get into that place.
Well, everyone loves a great show.
Right? Yeah. So we felt like, that kind of excitement and that kind of art needed to be put into a video. And so one of our videos, which is Utopian Playland, it's a live video from that actual event. So you can see in that video, Utopian Playland, you see everyone with the giant flowers, and you get to see some of the way people were dressed and how full it was and packed in there. And then we said, well, let's do a video based on this. We still have all this decor. So then we did We're All Made Here, and it just it hasn't stopped from there. We just get crazier and crazier, and we try to make everything bigger and bigger. And at some point, I don't know, is there any end to how big?
Great art, right? We're always trying to find that next plateau.
Right.
It's very exciting. We have a question for the audience. What new songs do you have in the works?
We do have some new songs in the works that we're planning on releasing an album within about a year at least. We've got one song called The Ritual and another song called The Mirror Escape. So
The Bond.
And The Bond. Yeah, all of them are the songs. So yeah, I mean, we have a lot of music that we're working on and working up, and so we start with I don't know. I typically start with like just a melodic idea. A lot of people start with their instrument first, and I'm a guitar player, and I also I write on keys, and so but I typically come up just some melody just pops in my head. Like I tend to sit when I come up with an idea, I try to sit in silence and just something will, see what creeps in there. And so that's where most of the songs come from. And then, by the end of it, we've got all this orchestral instrumentation backing it up. So you've heard some of the songs, they get pretty elaborate and with all the orchestral parts, et cetera. So
it's great to hear all that layering and the complexity. Do the different members of the band each add to the process when you bring in material?
Yeah, I mean, usually I have a pretty solid idea of what each instrument should sound like, but I don't want to have everything completely finished when I bring it to the band. I'd rather say, okay, Geneva, here's this idea I had around the bass line, play with it and see what you come up with. Or at times I'll just say, hey, I've got guitar, I've got the melody, I've got bass. I'm not sure on drums. Let's just play around and see what we come up with. So I like all the input, when writing, and so I love to bounce things around and see where it goes. But typically I'll just bring just an idea to the table that I've got lyrics, I've got a melody, I've got a guitar part or a piano part, and then we build it from there. So.
And what's it like? Do the pieces change in performance? Do you find that the songs shift and kind of morph as you bring it from audiences?
Sometimes, yeah. I mean, there are songs that by the time we've recorded them, they sound, the melody's there and the chord progression's there, but from the time I wrote those and we've recorded them, they sound completely different because we've added like a theremin or we put a choir here and backing in this weird way. So yeah, I love the recording process because I love trying out new things. So once we kind of get in there and we're laying things down, now it's time to play around and really use your imagination and think of things that we hadn't really thought of when we were just sitting there playing the instruments. So I like to get things tracked and then be able to hear it and start seeing the big picture and where it can go and what it can become. So yeah, a lot of that stuff, it in the end, it doesn't really resemble so much, the way it began. So
I love that about the live performance, how that it's like a crucible and things change. Sometimes you take things a little longer. I love that kind of that energy when you go see a band live and it's not like the recording. What makes your live shows interesting, besides the fact that you have the vaudeville aspect, the creative aspect, all the different theatrical arts? Musically speaking, what do your fans love?
Well, one interesting aspect about our music is it's alternative rock music. But we have people who come to our shows, and you don't generally see this at alternative rock shows, but people dance at our shows. Like, you see headbanging, you see people nodding, you see people like this and that. But like people literally dance to our music. And so I think that's what's intriguing about it, is we kind of have this dark yet playful, mysterious vibe. And so people really get into it. And I think also it's the blood, sweat, and tears we put into every show. If you go to a Marquis of Vaudeville show, you're gonna see a lot of heart. I mean, we give every show our all. It doesn't matter how many people we're playing to. We'll if we played for one person, we would do the same show for them as we would for thousands. So we always give it everything we have. Not only are they theatrical, but I think they're pretty emotive. So I think that speaks to the audience. Like the audience feels that, that there's something genuine that we're giving to them. It's this genuine gift that we're giving to them. Like I said, it was like, okay, well, we named this band this extravagant name, and then we get up in jeans and t-shirts, and it really wouldn't work.
Not gonna cut
it, right? People just like, the name seems pretentious, but when we do what we do, when we give everything that we have to every show, to every audience member, I think that they're grateful, and they give back in return. So.
Well, you've built up a great fan base. I was looking around at your people are really dedicated to your music, especially looking on the streaming platforms, on Spotify. Some of your songs have like 80,000 listens, and you've got over 1,000 monthly listeners, and starting to grow, really building. What's it like to see that energy from people, from your fans?
It's tremendous. I mean, honestly, I feel that our streams are pretty low compared to some of the other engagement that we get. Like we have fans write us all the time, and we're the band that no matter who you are and what it is that you're writing, we will write you back. We as long as you're respectful, of course. So we and it's us. It's not somebody that we put in charge, or we don't have a company that we pay to do it. So we built this tremendous relationship with our fans, and I think that they respect the fact that we are accommodating and we make time for them. If you come to our show and you want to speak to us, you're going to speak to us. We're not going to just play, get off the stage, and disappear. We're going to come out. We're going to talk to you. We're going to shake your hand. We're going to listen to the things you have to say, and that's who we are as a band. I mean, we can't do it without the fans, and so we appreciate every single one of them. Everyone who listens, we really do appreciate them. So
I love how social media has really opened up artists and audiences and bands and fans, and there's that connection now. What are some of the most meaningful messages you've got over social media? That's something that stands out. Each of you, do you have any messages that have stood out to you over the years?
Do you have anything? Because I have something.
Okay, yeah, you go.
Do you have something you would like to?
Not yet.
Okay, all right.
I mean, I'm thinking.
So I literally get messages from fans every day, and but I would have to say that the most meaningful messages were after we did our original A Clockwork Wonderland show. At the end of that show, the audience, they were all hugging and they were crying. A lot of people were crying because they didn't want the night to end. They wanted it to go on forever, and they were so sad that this world we created was, after this show and after everyone walked out of the venue, it's going to dissolve, right? And it was just going to be a memory to them. And so they were all super, super. I would say they got pretty sentimental at the end, and they were upset that it wasn't going to go on forever. So afterward, we received hundreds upon hundreds of messages saying that it was the most magnificent event they had ever attended. They had never seen anything like it before. That they like I said, they didn't want the night to end, and they wish it could have gone on forever. And that just the most kind messages I've ever received after that event, because people were so moved by what we had done. And that's probably for me, I every single one of the people who write me or the band, I share it with the entire band, and we appreciate every kind word that's said. We appreciate every time someone shares our music or spreads the word. So they all mean something to me. I don't want to diminish anyone else's messages, because I love them all and I appreciate them all. So
it's such an interesting world you've built, and I'm just fascinated. It is playful, but yet fascinating, and dark, but interesting in a playful way. And it reminds me of when there was an interview with Black Sabbath when they were talking about they were a Led Zeppelin type blues band, and it wasn't really working for them. And then they went to see Psycho, and they're like, "Hey!" And all of a sudden they came up with that idea to do something different and to include the theatrical part to their music and the kind of the darkness. And I just think it's you combine that darkness but also that playful kind of fun. That's really a fascinating combination of those different elements.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, it's very Burton-esque, very very kind of Beetlejuice or Nightmare Before Christmas, or so all of that, all of his work is like that. It's dark, has a dark side, but playful. Edward Scissorhands, I could go on and on.
Makes for great music. It always makes, even like when you look at, like, I'm an opera conductor, a symphony conductor. When you listen to Beethoven's Fifth Symphony with the dun dun, the C minor, stormy, we all love that. It's just it kind of hits that part of our personalities, and kind of that fantasy world is a beautiful thing.
Absolutely, I completely agree. And so, our music's not only influenced by rock, and by punk and et cetera, and metal, et cetera. It's also influenced by classical. So, and that's why you hear those orchestral pieces that back up everything. And we like to play with that as well. So, we just take everything we love and mix it up and put it together and say, here, give it to everyone.
What do the different members of the band bring to the picture? What is it, the tapestry that is Marquis of Vaudeville? What does each member of the band bring that's interesting and unique?
Lunacy. In our own way, that's true. But I think that each one of us has our strong points, and if someone's lacking somewhere, then we help each other out, and someone else will pick up the slack in all the work that needs to be done, of course, in being a band. I think Cameron, our drummer, he has a lot of heart. He's a very outgoing person, and he's great with fans. They love him. He can talk to anyone. And so we were on tour in the UK, and we were in the UK, and we were at a hotel, and there was some sort of, it was a tea. There was a bunch of
Sunday? Was it a Sunday?
I don't know if it was
like a Sunday tea or something at this like country.
Yeah, and so we're all getting in the van, and I was like, "Where's Cameron?" And I go back in, and he's sitting there with all these lovely older women, having tea with them, and he just looks completely out of place because they're dressed in their finest, and he's got like his jeans with the ripped knee, and he's all his piercings, and
I love it. You got a rock person, a rock star, and high tea in one idea.
Just completely having a conversation. I can't remember what I heard him ask. It was like
he's asking. He said, "No, what
Crumpets?
exactly is a crumpet?"
Yeah, that's what it was.
And they were all
Like, so he wanted to know what a crumpet was, and so they were explaining to him what a crumpet was when I walked in, and that's Cameron. I mean, and then Parker's very technical, and you know he's kind of a gearhead and knows his stuff, and great technical player. You know, our parts that we write tend to warrant having someone who is above average ability, so to say. So they're not that easy to play. So we really need members who know their stuff. I think Geneva, she's the brains. You're not the brains.
No.
You're not. I think you are the brains, but I'm probably the imagination.
I keep everything organized.
Yeah, she's very organized. So
we all need that. Creative types need to be organized and focused. And how does like an indie band like yourself deal with the business part of it and keeping everything straight, the bookings, the rehearsal schedule when you're on tour, all the challenges that come up with running a band?
Yeah, that's a very good question. How do we? So I primarily do the majority of that work. With, of course, Geneva's help because she's so organized, and sometimes I need someone to just kind of keep things straight and let me know what time is this or when are we doing that. But yeah, I mean, you know, we're managed by Paul Crosby of the band Saliva. You know, so he's the drummer for Saliva, and he's our manager. So he works on some aspects of that, but as far as like the things that he doesn't do, it's a lot of work all the time. You know, we have music and TV and film, so there's a lot of licensing and paperwork involved. We do a lot of pop culture conventions, horror conventions, goth, steampunk, vampire events, and so
we certainly have to talk about that. So okay,
Yeah.
that sounds like so much fun. So tell us about how you got involved with those. What was like the first one, and tell us about some of those stories.
I'm a super big fan of fantasy films and stories. Like I was a huge Tolkien fan. And the other original guitar player, Brian, who I grew up with, we were both huge Tolkien fans. And so, you know, Neil Gaiman is a huge influence, literary influence. And so, but, you know, growing up, films like Labyrinth and Legend,
great movies,
on and on. I was into the fantasy side. Now she's more sci-fi. She likes sci-fi much more than I do. But
what are your favorite movies, Geneva?
My favorite movies are Dark City and 12 Monkeys and Blade Runner and RoboCop and basically everything John Carpenter's ever done.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, you know, we being that I was into those things, and this is how we dress, and the music was theatrical. It was really different and something, you know, that a lot of people hadn't heard. We approached a local convention 10 plus years ago called ACON, which is about a 30,000 head convention. And we said, hey, look, we've got something to offer. That you want to take a listen and look at this. And so they said, sure. And they put us on a floor in a conference room. We weren't even on a stage. They just put us on the floor with, I think, like some DJ equipment and said, have at it. And so we probably blew all of that equipment up. But basically we, you know, the place was packed. I mean, wall to wall. And there were just people just directly in front of us. I mean, the girl, I remember, she's a friend of ours now and has been a fan for a long time. But I look and she's just like not wearing pants. Like it was crazy. And so, so we did that. And then the next year they had like a more official event with a stage, and then they brought us back. And then from there, you know, we go to other events and say, hey, we played this event. And they're like, oh yeah, well that's a bigger one around here, so yeah, we'll put you in. And so the ball gets rolling from there. And so now we play Dragon Con, which is 250 to 300,000 heads at Dragon Con when they do that. So we're going to be there next month. Yeah. So we'll be playing Dragon Con next month.
How are the audience react at those concerts?
I mean, they dance and they get really into it, and it's our kind of people. It's people who like something more than the mundane, and it's all the dreamers and the people that have really heavily vivid imaginations, and so it's our kind of folks. So they love it, and we love them. So
what's the craziest show the band's ever done?
Craziest? Would it be one in the UK, Geneva? Or do you think it is Dragon Con?
Probably Dragon Con.
Dragon Con is a completely different planet. You're literally, they have 5 hotels in like directly across the street from each other in downtown Atlanta. And like I said, you throw 250 to 300,000 people in there. And I think the first year, and in fact, we're playing at 1:30 in the morning this year, but our first year, the show started at 1:30 in the morning. We're like, 1:30 in the morning? Like, what? And no one's going to be there.
No one's going to be there, but I guess if it gets our foot in the door,
Yeah, and then it turns out there were like 3,000 to 5,000 people at the show because
holy smokes,
party does not stop.
They don't go to sleep.
24 hours a day.
And they have they have events running all night long practically, and it's 4 days.
Yeah.
So
it took us 4.5 hours to load in.
Yeah, because there were so many people.
So many people.
Just trying to get around and get through all the people, get our van and everything where it needed to be and et cetera. It's really crazy. But Dragon Con is, like I said, that's a different planet. But we love it. It's so different. And I get to see I think last time we saw Skeksis from Dark Crystal.
Dark Crystal, sure.
I think it was one of the actual ones from that Henson company put together. It was
too good.
It was too good. It was exact.
And they had a handler and everything. I think
scared the crud out of me when I was a kid.
The Skeksis did.
Well, they're horrifying.
Yeah,
when I was a kid, man, woo.
But yeah, so I'll be sitting there at a merch table and the Skeksis goes by and I'm happy as can be. Or when I see 20 Jareths from Labyrinth within like a 3-hour period, then it's like, oh, there's Jareth again. That's cool. So that makes me happy. And then she gets to go and hang out and meet some of her heroes. She got to meet RoboCop. Yes, she's
I got to meet Peter Weller, and he was very nice, and I was very happy.
Yeah, she was happy to meet Peter Weller. But yeah, so it's like I said, it's just there's nothing else like it. So we truly love it. But
exciting.
I think some of our craziest shows probably were in the UK outside of Dragon Con. We toured over there and it was just it was amazing. We had a great time while we were there.
So what's what are some of the licensing your songs have found their way into movies and television? Where might have we seen them?
Little shows like Dexter.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I remember the episode. What was do you remember the episode that was on?
So I'm not sure what all we can say here. It's in season 7, episode 9. The episode's called Helter Skelter.
Sorry,
and
I remember it.
Our cat decided that she wanted to. Yeah, come on in.
Join the podcast, Kitty.
Yeah, this is Una, and
Una, welcome.
So we basically we were in a kind of a strip club scene where two gentlemen get into a fight. a gentleman's club, and they get into a fight over a girl, and our music's playing in the background, and Helter Skelter. So it was a song called Kismet, which oddly enough is kind of about imagination and loosely based on Willy Wonka. So it's very fitting for the strip club. And
that was a great show too. That's a wonderful show.
Yeah, and then Charmed. So we had 3 songs in various episodes of Charmed, and then lots of independent film, and we had, what was the Trust Me was a film that I think that was a full feature though. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Trust Me, I think our song Core of Night was in that. Shows that we don't really know anything about, like there was a new 90210, and they placed some of our music in the new 90210, which I didn't even know existed. And then we get on our statements, we get the our royalty statements. We sometimes get the German television, French film, and so it's
That's
like,
it.
Okay, well, I guess our song was in something. So, but yeah, it's pretty cool getting our music in a lot of TV and film. So
that's a great compliment when someone wants to use your original work on their art. I think that's a beautiful thing. Yeah. Did you actually watch the episode of Dexter when it aired?
I didn't see it when it aired, but I have seen it multiple times. Sometimes fans will just see it and film it and send it to us. It's like, okay.
Yes, we know. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the strip club scene again.
That's awesome. Well, I love to see work getting out there and artists making their, expanding their reach. It's really exciting. So what do you have on tap? What's coming up now? COVID was such a challenge for us all. I'm also a musician and an artist and a performing artist. And I lost a year and a half of conducting contracts and guest conducting and all that, and everything shifted to remote. Did you guys do a lot of streaming performances during COVID, or did you? What did you do during the period?
We did some, not a lot. We actually did one for Dragon Con last year, which didn't happen due to COVID. But yeah, we were on tour when COVID hit. We were literally. We're from Texas. We were in California. We had just played at an event at Old Tucson Studios where they filmed Tombstone, called Wild Wild West Con, and we just played that, and we went to California, and then everything started closing around us. Then the shows started canceling, and then it was it's pretty disappointing.
And then we went home.
Yeah, well, before that, and then we couldn't get toilet paper.
Yeah.
And then Parker's mom sent us toilet paper, and then we went home.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was.
Yeah, it was like a dominoes, right? One fell, everything fell. I had my debut in Prague and my debut in Vienna and an opera in Italy. Everything just wiped out. And then it was like, now what? And I know it took us, I've had like 180 of these interviews, and everyone dealt with it in a different way. I mean, it was a real challenge to say, how do we remain creative when we take away the live performing part of what we do? Did you guys go to the studio? How did you get the urge to create back again?
I continued to write on music for the new album, and then just ideas for other music videos. We have several other music videos that we're wanting to put together. I mean, as you've seen from the ones that you took a look at, they can get pretty elaborate. So a lot of planning has to go into them, and so that's kind of where I went. I went straight into writing music and coming up with ideas for the videos, etc. So.
Right back to work. Have you started to record some of the new stuff that's going to drop maybe soon?
We haven't laid anything down other than just scratch tracks. So there hasn't been any official recording. Just scratch stuff to kind of flesh out the ideas and go from there. But we're looking forward to doing that soon. And it's one of those things where our first album had 19 tracks on it. Some of them just orchestral segues, but still it had 19 pieces of music on it. And then I think our sophomore had the Tragic Valentine had what 13 songs. So I'm trying to I'm kind of old school, so I'm trying to get in the mindset of, hey, release 3 songs or 5 songs, don't release 20. So so it's difficult for me sometimes to kind of get away from that, because I love a full album. My favorite thing is to find an album that I enjoy at least, I'd say 80% of the songs on it. And, there might be 1 or 2, but, there are very few, that are like that, and very few bands that can do that anymore, or have been able to do that over the years, I feel. So,
we're seeing so many short releases and single releases. I think that's much really state of the 2021 that we've seen the short releases so much more than the EP drops.
Yeah, I agree, and so I'm trying to get my head wrapped around that and think, well, maybe we could do it this way. This is what everyone else is doing, but still, like I said, I just love that full album with just a great a great list of songs, and you just want to. You put it on and you just go for a ride, some kind of whimsical, crazy ride, and I love that, and so that's what we've tended to do in the past. But I don't know, not sure how many songs we're gonna throw on this, but we'll see. If we continue to write music that we think is worthy to put out there, and we just at some point you have to draw the line. But if it turns out to be 10 plus, then it turns out to be 10 plus. So.
When the muse strikes, you have to go with it. How do you come up with a concept, like your concepts for what it's going to look like on stage? How do those take form?
As far as stage and themed shows, that comes from just inspiration from theater and film, and We're All Mad Here, of course, is Alice in Wonderland themed, and so we just wanted to take that story, this story that we all loved, and put our own twist on it, and that's what we did. We just kind of put a dark little twist on it and made it our own thing, and tried not to really necessarily follow anyone's lead. Like when we did the video for We're All Mad Here, it was like, well, we don't want to do anything that like Tom Petty's video did. So there were so many cool things in that, but we didn't want it to be something that had been done before. We wanted to kind of make our own story and do our own thing visually, and musically as well. So
it's such a that story is so compelling. I did a ballet, an original ballet based on it. I've connected that. I've seen like all sorts of operatic, of course, film adaptions. So there's so much fertile ground there to plow. And I love what you guys did with it. The costumes were interesting. The choices, the musical was really exciting. It must be challenging to find that concept and to put your stamp on it.
Yeah, I mean, what I tried to do was stay true to the original story, and then kind of put and then branch out from there. I tried to stay away from anything that was something I had already seen another artist do. I tried to stay true to the story when kind of writing out the story. But same with the music. It just depends on where my head's at. I mean, we have songs about mad scientist toy makers. We have songs about star-crossed lovers who are vampires. We have songs, it's just kind of all over the place. But there's always something about escape there. About escaping to another world and about getting away from reality within our songs. That's like a continuous theme is just escapism. And
we needed that so much during COVID, with all the challenges we faced in society, all the really tough news in the last year and a half, 2 years. I mean, look at Netflix, all the art we like. Yeah, we all need that kind of the chance to inhabit another world, at least for a time, and then come back and be like refreshed again. I think it's so important.
Yeah, I completely agree, and I mean, it stems from being a child and you know, and wanting to and going to these plays my grandmother used to take me to. You know, she would take me to all these local theater performances, and so I always wanted to be a part of that, and it just always took me away. But I was much too shy to really ever to audition or even get on stage as a child. And so, you know, I just took all those things that I saw and took all those performances on stage and all the films I loved and all the fantastical nature of all of it, and kind of threw it into what we do now.
Well, certainly an exciting thing to go see. Where can people see you live, and what are some of the plans as we come out of this COVID period, as we kind of get back to the stage? I'm starting to hear a lot of bands are starting to get back on the road. There's some tours opening up. There are performances happening. What are the plans for Marquis of Vaudeville?
Well, they can see us live here right now, right?
They certainly can.
So next we'll be at Dragon Con, and that's Labor Day weekend. We're performing on, do you remember the date? The Friday?
The 3rd and the 4th.
Okay, so...
Or no, the 4th and the 5th.
Yeah. So it's a little difficult because it's, like I said, it's 1:30 in the morning. So is it Friday or is it Saturday? So,
yes.
Yeah.
We're playing at 1:30 Saturday morning and then 10 p.m. on Sunday.
Sunday, yeah. So that's going to be our next performance. That's going to be in September. And then... we've got October's always a busy time for us. We'll see how it goes this year with everything, you know, but we've already gotten a lot of offers to do some things in October. So we're going to start with Dragon Con and go from there, and then also focus on our video work on these other videos that we wanted to put together. And I think that's it, right, Geneva?
And we're playing in San Francisco in March.
Yeah. So we'll be out on the West Coast in March. So.
Fantastic. Well, I wish you guys continued success. How can people find out more about you, and what social media outlets can they go to interact with the band?
So
all of them.
All of them. Yeah. We practically invented the internet. We're on Spotify, Pandora. We're on all the major streaming. We're on iTunes. We're on Amazon. We're, you know, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We even have I think we have what's the photo? Pinterest. I think we even have a Pinterest. So yeah, we're all over the place. But in order to easily find those things, you can just go to MOV Music. So MOV, Marquis of Vaudeville, at music.com. So.
A great place to go and check out the music of this fantastic band. Thank you to both of you guys. Wish you continued success and great music and entertainment. And I look forward to seeing what comes out next.
Hey, thank you, Jason. We appreciate you having us on Music Matters, and we hope to return and talk to you again. It's
continued success. I can't wait to see what the next chapter looks like.
Okay, Una, I'll let you tell them bye. She wants to say bye.
We love our cats. Thank you for joining us on Music Matters with Jason Tramm. Please remember to subscribe to us on YouTube and all of our various platforms. Follow us on social media. You can join our mailing list by going on our website at www.jasontram.net. You can also see our library of 180 past episodes. And thank you so much for joining us. And remember, keep music alive.